Very good morning, Ponu sir.
Good morning, ma. How are you all?
Fine, sir. How about you? Very good morning, Ponu
Fantastic,
sir.
ma. Fantastic.
Good to hear your
morning,
voice
good morning,
after.
How are you all? Long time. Yes. Good.
Fine,
We
sir.
should
How
thank
about you?
Charles
Very
and
good
Anand
morning, Ponu
for
sir.
connecting us again.
Definitely good to hear your voice after.
How are you all? Long time. Yes. Good.
Fine,
We
sir.
should
How
thank
about you?
Charles
Very
and
good
Anand
morning, Ponu
for
sir.
connecting us. என்ன சார்ல்ஸ் ரொம்ப அமைதியா இருக்கிறாரு. சார்ல்ஸ் யூ ஆர் இன் சென்னையா எங்கேங்க?
Good morning, all. Should we start the session, sir?
Yes, ma'am, you can start it.
The meeting of great minds will provide solutions to recent challenges in human resource and operations. With this beautiful thought, a very happy morning to all. On behalf of Training and Placement Cell of Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering and Technology, I feel honored to welcome the dignitaries, special invitees, faculties, and students for the virtual HR Conclave on the topic Next Gen Skill Set for the Post-COVID Era. Survival is not guaranteed for the strongest or the sharpest, but only for those who are most responsive to the change. Quote by Charles Darwin. Now I welcome our beloved principal, Dr. S. Pradeep Devanayan, to deliver the welcome address.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. Honorable Chairman, beloved Managing Director, respected Chief Operations Officer, guest of honors from various industries, faculty and other stakeholders of our group of institutions, and most importantly, the participants across India, and my student and faculty friends from our institution. It gives me a great pleasure to extend you all a very warm welcome. Our recent research shows that before the pandemic, employees were quitting their jobs more and more. As the economy took down a downturn and jobs opening dried up, workers that were able to avoid layoffs and they have decided to stay. The result was the lowest number of employees quitting their job after 2020. While COVID-19 is changing the working landscape and we continue to navigate our way through the pandemic day by day, it's also most important to look ahead so we can prepare the changes that are inevitably coming. While the pandemic has brought up a lot of disruption, it has also forced a lot of business to take actions from improving or launching digital services to allowing flexible working and implementing digital structure to allow people to work from home and to remain productive. There's long been a focus on the importance of digital literacy in the future workforce, which is now even more prevalent. But the other skills which will equip the workforce of the future are adaptability, creativity, data literacy, leadership, to Sri Ramachandran sir, an illustrious personality who has been continuing his tradition and encouraging education in all possible spheres. Your application shows the positive note upon your commitment towards bringing this institution a world-class educational environment. I welcome you, sir. I'm delighted to welcome our beloved Managing Director, Sri Rajiv Krishna sir, an efficient administrator whose presence makes us happy on this happiest occasion. I'm immensely pleasure to welcome Dr. Vidya, Chief Operating Officer, for your timely support. Your presence gives us the warmth. I welcome everybody with all my pleasure and greeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our beloved Chairman, sir, to deliver the presidential address.
So kindly unmute, sir.
Rajiv Krishna, Managing Director, Dr. Vidya, Chief Operating Officer of Venvesha Group of Institutions. Our key speakers for this event, Mr. Ponnusamy, Mr. Charles Godwin from Zoho, Mrs. Bhavani from DXC Technology, Mrs. Radhika Ravi from Amazon, and Mrs. Saranya Ishwaran from HCL, and my dear faculties, students, and all the participants. Good morning to all of you. Today being the event for HR Conclave Next Gen Skillset will be a real eye-opening for all the viewers of this program. The COVID-19 pandemic has shaken the very pillars of humanity and business. The post-COVID world, by all estimates, will not be anything like today. The technology and engineering sectors have been hit extremely hard with the virus setting of inflationary trends. Be it education sector, healthcare industry, manufacturing sector, or the construction industry, automation with focus on artificial intelligence, data sciences, machine learning, and IoT are going to be the key drivers in future. The work from home concept would fuel the demand for IT hardware and software products. Globally, the concept of the home office is posing a challenge for technology and engineering service companies, especially those which are historically used to work on customer sites or in research labs. There would always be a demand for creative reasoning, design thinking, and problem-solving skills. These skills would be more in demand looking at the current recruitment trends, all in a virtual mode. New job opportunities begin to emerge. It is imperative to develop and practice the must-have new skills. Here, a good educational institution would discern and determine the changing requirements of businesses and impart necessary skills along with the formal education. We, Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering and Technology, always keep ourselves updated to impart these skills as per industry expectations. We have a wonderful team of faculties, principal, and all technicians of the traditional mindset and think out of the box to find innovative solutions to the way forward. Let us hope the new dawn would bring in new challenges.
I'm honored to introduce the human resource leaders and professional with over 28 years of experience in human resource management and development, strategic plan, management and workers, achieved by a pragmatic mix of administration. He is an out-of-the-box thinker with the distinction of having introduced and streamlined sustainable human resource policies. He was previously working with Renault Nissan Automobile Private Limited, Chennai. We welcome you, sir. Next, we have Mr. Charles, HR leader and public speaker.
Thank you, madam.
Welcome, sir. Next speaker for the session is Mr. Charles, HR leader and public speaker, Zoho, an astute human resource professional with 16 years in-depth experience in the entire scope of people programs and processes from the renowned IT industry. He has extensive exposure to manage change during the acquisitions and mergers, building capabilities and talent during high growth phases, executing app HR interventions. Moreover, he is a prominent speaker in student and industry forums and has delivered over 1,500 guest lectures speaking to young minds. We welcome you, sir. Next speaker for the session is Mrs. Bhavani, Talent Acquisition Lead, DXC Technology, seasoned HR professional with expertise in recruitment, resource management, and campus hiring. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Next speaker for the session is Ms. Radhika Ravi, Diversity Program Manager, APAC, Amazon. She's a competent HR professional with experience of about 10 years in different areas of HR. Prior to Amazon, she was working with TCS. She has played various roles, including resource management, and was handling workforce planning for banking and financial services and enterprise solutions. Adding to her glorious crown, she is a jury award winner of Outstanding Woman Manager 2020 by MMA, Innovator Award for Best Innovation at TCS, HR Annual Award 2019, and Young Manager 2017 Award by CII. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am. Next speaker for the session is Mrs. Saranya Ishwaran, Manager HR, HCL Hungary. Strategic and innovative HR professional with 10 years of domain experience and knowledge. She is an empowering leader and a true influencer who thrives on tough challenges and translates visions and strategies into actionable goals. She is skilled in various functions of HR like requirement analysis, HR policies, talent management, etc. It's my pleasure in welcoming the stalwarts for today's HR Conclave. Now I hand over the session to Mrs. Charles.
Thanks, Lakshmi Priya ma'am. Just a quick check whether my video and audio is clear.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
Thanks, Sharanya. Thanks, Dr. Pradeep. Very good morning on a Saturday. In spite of all the situation around, getting connected to learn, hear, share. It's absolutely not just easy. It's very, very difficult indeed. When we have been looking for oxygen, we have been looking for beds. Even before this meeting, I have been, I'm sure, the other HR colleagues and the other leaders will agree. Now we have been, even Dr. Anandaraj will agree. Yesterday, I've been behind him asking for an oxygen bed or an ICU bed in Pondi. So that's how our life has been. Unpredictable, uncertain, pandemic and so on. My dear friends, let's not be just focused on that. And today, definitely, we have a hope. We will overcome. I just want to have a very, very simple example, live example, which I want to quote before we start. When I get in, I would like to thank our institution chairman, Mr. Sri Ramachandran, Managing Director, COO Dr. Vidya, Principal Dr. Pradeep, HODs, faculty members, students, maybe parents might be listening as well. Thanks for joining. And thanks to all the panel members, speakers from various industry, various locations. I know Sharanya is in Germany. I know for her right now, I think about 6:30, 6:45. Yeah, the early morning. And, I mean, we have to move on, right? Now we have to take care. We have to see how we can, take care of ourselves even during this tough time. Just want to give a classic example before I get in. About 15, 20 years back, when I was, exploring how industry have been when I started my career. I started my journey in an IT firm. I joined as a trainee, stipendary general trainee. It was not a permanent job. Just 6 months. If I do well, I can be there. If I do extremely well, maybe my training period will get extended, but there is no assurance that I will get a permanent opportunity there in that particular company. Right? 18 months gone by, closely about 2 years, I got my confirmation. During that time, I got to know that industry was not doing well. I heard the first word called pandemic, about 15, 18 years back. Right? Hope students would have heard about recession. Students would have heard about industry not doing well. Students would have heard about industry is uncertain. We don't have control over it, and so on. And then got to know. When I look back today, I'm sure every leader will agree. Every 3 to 4 years, every industry undergo this cycle. Maybe 2018, we would have heard about core engineering or manufacturing industry was not doing well. The earlier year, you would have heard about automobile industry was not doing well. The earlier year, you would have heard about telecom industry was not doing well, or IT industry was not doing well. That's how industry has been. But unfortunately, today, 2019, 2020, 2021, that's not the scenario, but almost similar, wherein the entire world has been affected, especially the student community has been affected to a larger extent when we compare to any other institution. Technology industry, yes, right from day one, right from our first lockdown, we have been working from home. Manufacturing plants have been shut down, and the institutions didn't have a clear path of where we can head towards. But today, in the last 1 year, our institutions have taken so much effort to connect with students and see. Today, technology plays a very important role in difference. That's where I'm coming to. The first important message, don't worry about what's happening. Let's worry about what we have been doing during this pandemic season. That's one of the very, very simple questions which we have to ask. Number two, let's not worry about what's happening. Let's worry about how we are preparing ourselves to bounce back and face. I don't wait for a word called post-pandemic or post-COVID. I think COVID will be part of us for so many years. All right. So that's how we look at it. We have to see how we can live in spite of this COVID situation. So we have very eminent speakers for this session. Before taking much time, I would like to split this session into two. I would like to invite each speaker to share their initial thoughts for about 8 to 10 minutes. And maybe the first two speakers focus more on how industry have been evolving, especially during this COVID time from 2019 till now. For example, just to quote, I represent a company called Zoho. Right? I hope you would have heard about an IT product-based company. And in India, before even our first lockdown, before even our Prime Minister's announcement, almost 21 days back, we have, we have been asked to go back home, go back to our native and start working from home. We didn't have any clue. One sudden day, our CEO informed entire management, entire HR leadership team, and entire 10,000 people, asking them to go back to their home and work from home. COVID is hitting China. It's very close in India. It's almost in India. And within few days, couple of days, in the same week, our CEO had a next announcement saying, don't just be going back to your respective home or respective flat, apartment, and so on in Chennai or Tenkasi or in Renigunda or in US. Go back to your hometown. Vacate your flat. Go back to your hometown. Right? So that's how. Now I'm sharing this example just to make us understand, including me, how proactive we are. Right? In spite of all the situation, how we are bouncing back, how proactive we are in terms of handling the tough situation, my dear friends. So I would like to invite, with this, initial thoughts, I would like to invite Radhika. Radhika, one of eminent HR leader. Currently, she is playing a very important role in Amazon. I would like to, invite her. I will request her to share how industry has been evolving, especially during this last 2 years. Over to Radhika.
Sure. Thank you very much, Charles, for the introduction. And I think most of us over here can resonate well with the thoughts. So you were telling how the pandemic had hit us badly, and even yesterday night you were searching for oxygen cylinder. I think pretty much everywhere the situation is like more or less the same. So amidst all these extreme difficult situations that we see in and around us, so how do we overcome? So I think you rightly pointed out, instead of dwelling to what is happening right now, let's look forward with hope and let us move on. So I think hope is a good thing, and probably the best of all things. I think it's a famous quote which is close to my heart, and I think hope is a word that every one of us should attach ourselves to, and let us look forward that we are entering into light from a very dark situation. We will hope that things turn out better in the coming days. So on that note, thank you very much once again to the management, and Charles, thank you so much for inviting me to this conclave. So it's always heartening to be part of sessions where we get to meet young talents to share our experience with us, to share what's going on in the industry. So I would like to start off with one quote from Winston Churchill. So it's a very famous quote, and I think it's very apt to the situation that we are in right now. So he said, never waste a good crisis. So the crisis we are in right now, the COVID, it has been impacting different people in different ways, different industry in different ways. So only thing that we can do right now is how do we reap benefits out of it? So when I talk about industries, there are different multiple industries that each and every one of us is attached to. So there is banking, there is retail, there is travel, transportation, there is telecom, there is manufacturing. So there are different industries, and each industry has been impacted in its own ways. So say, for example, when we take retail, the e-commerce sector is doing extremely well, especially during this pandemic situation. And I think there is no single house which would have left without a Flipkart package or an Amazon package. So that's how e-commerce industry is right now. So every industry is reaping its own benefits. Leaving aside, let's not talk about the negative things that's going on. So probably if we dwell on that part, we will not be able to move forward. So that's one such example. E-commerce is really doing well in terms of this, especially during this COVID time. And with respect to physical stores in retail, so I would say people are not visiting physical stores, especially during this time. There is a stopgap that is happening with respect to retail industry, and similar drawback to travel transportation. So if you take travel transportation right from since last March, since the lockdown, the industry has been probably, if anybody from that industry could relate to, there are projects which are ramping down. And it is equally balanced. If projects are being ramped down in travel transportation, where probably the transportation industry is down, so during this time, the e-commerce is picking up. So one side there is a downtrend that we see in the opportunities. On the other side, there is a sector which is extremely doing well, right? So this is how the industry, I think, is balancing out. There are few industries which are getting hit. At the same time, there are few industries like pharma is doing extremely well in terms of new projects that is coming in terms of ramping up the projects that are currently pharma industries are into. So considering that trend, I think it's a time for us where we look at a balance and not well into too much of negative aspects that we're seeing right now. So I would just want to quote a small incident. I think Ramchandran sir rightly pointed out in how innovation is very important in any industry. So let us not even go to industries. I'll tell you a very classic example. There is a person called Umaka who sells flowers in our apartment. So she used to come, she used to regularly sell flowers, and she has good rapport with the people over in the apartment. So during the pandemic time, I think most of you would have faced sells flowers in our maids have been cut off. They're not allowed to come in, and any vendors are not allowed to come in any apartment. So I think everybody was facing that crunch. But I'll tell you how Umaka was very innovative in her approach and how she overcome the situation. So nobody is allowed. So what she did was she quickly formed a WhatsApp group with all her customers. So she quickly created a WhatsApp group and she downloaded GPay. I am not sure like how agile we would have been in that situation, but the agility that she had towards the approach. Okay, it's pandemic. I am not allowed to get inside the apartment. What are the alternate ways that I can look at? So how do I innovate? So Umaka did innovation. She got into a technology which she's not used to. So I think we can pick cubes from the people who we are interacting with day in, day out basis. It's not like big examples or big industries is what we will have to look at. Just look at people, how they are surviving in this situation, right? It's extremely, I was very delighted to see how she overcame the situation. So to her, I think the approach that Umaka followed is extremely good. And when I was interacting with her, I was asking Umaka, every po the business, you're not allowed inside. So she was like, இல்லம்மா முன்னாடி விட இப்ப நல்லா போகுது. In fact, I don't have any constraints. And when I come down, I just sent a WhatsApp message in the group, flower, I'm waiting with flowers. When we come down, we get the flowers from her. It is already packed. Whatever we want, it is packed, and we paid via GPay. And to me, Umaka is an inspiration. Umaka is an example of how innovation can change challenges to opportunities, right? So this is something which I wanted to share with all of you. And with industry side, like as Charles mentioned, yes, there are ups and downs that's going on. There are industries that is getting hit. But equally, there are opportunities that are growing up. And when you see in the news, I think, especially to the students, you can see that XYZ company is going to hire thousands of trainees. And this is not only to specific company. Almost, I think this message is hard hitting from all the companies. Like they are clearly sending out this message that they are in need of a lot of pressures, which is giving an inside message that there are opportunities waiting for all of you guys. There is nothing to look back and to be sad or to feel sad about that. What am I going to do? I'm in my third year. I'm in my fourth year. How am I going to get placed? Please remove all those doubts if in case you have any, because industry is doing, some of the industries are getting hit, but you do have a lot of opportunities. And I think you all should probably, whenever you're down, think about Umaka, how she overcame the situation and how she took the difficulties that she had in front of her at her stride and how she overcame the situation. I think every one of us, if we just introspect and look back, we will all have an opportunity. We will all have a way out to come out of what we are in right now. So probably we can only think that if somebody had told us that we will all be working from home for more than a year, last year, sometime in February, we would have all laughed at that person. Oh, what is he blabbering? But what is happening now, it's completely different. Like we are all working from home for last one more than a year. And we don't know when the situation will resume back, or we even do not know if this will be the new normal, right? So nobody can predict. So we can only prepare ourselves, like how we are going to face the situation, because our needs with respect to food, clothing, and vehicle, nothing has changed. The needs of human beings are same. When needs of human beings are same, the industries which are procuring or producing that materials is going to be the same. So considering the input and the output, it is good. Probably currently we are getting used to the challenges, and we will definitely come out of it. And probably if this is going to be new normal, I think human race will also learn how to live with this new normal, which we are currently doing right now. So we can only hope, and we can only think that definitely this too shall pass. So we will hope for brighter days ahead. And until then, let's do what we are doing. Let's continue doing what we are doing. And there is no, probably to student community especially, one message if I want to pass on to, don't think or don't feel bad about you are in final year during this pandemic era, because opportunities are there. It is just that how you groom yourself, how you upskill yourself, and how you conquer. So agility is a very important terminology. Probably leaving apart time for rest of the speakers, I would just want to park here. If there is one key takeaway that you can take from me is innovation. Be innovative. Think about alternate ways of doing things, because when things are changing, we will have to change according to it. Innovation and agility are the two things which I would say is very important right now. So I think without taking much time, I want to give it to Charles back so that he can get the opinion from other speakers too.
Thanks, Radhika. Beautiful. Definitely, students will not forget. Myself, I will not forget now how Umaka, played a very important role in innovating even during this tough time. My dear friends, I relate with Ola or Amazon app. When a courier Anna Akka, started adapting to smartphone, right? Without even stepping into a school, right? How much more we as students, we as engineers, have to be innovative and be open to learn, my dear friends. Thanks, Radhika. I'll come back to you with the next round. Next, I would like to invite Ponnusamy sir. Before this meeting, I just had a very quick video call with him. He's right now in his hometown. Very close to a very, very beautiful greenery, close to nature. I was like telling, இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சூழ்நிலையில அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு நேச்சர் கூட இருக்கிறது எவ்வளவு பெரிய blessing, right? So thanks Ponnusamy sir, in spite of all the challenges, in spite of connectivity and so on, you were able to make it. Over to you, sir. So before getting in, sir, Ponnusamy sir is one of a very senior leader whom I always used to admire. Especially from the core engineering side, how industry has been evolving, especially during this tough times. That maybe you can touch upon that, and definitely it will be useful for students as well as for leaders as well.
Thanks. Thank you, Charles, for giving me an opportunity. Happy morning to the chairman, managing director, COO of Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering and Technology, principal, HODs, teaching staff, and non-teaching staff, as well as my co-speakers, Radhika, Bhavani, and Saranya, and Varungalangale. It's really, plus parents who are supporting the Varungalangal, because without the parents, the backbone of India cannot be built. So happy morning to you all. I just want to quote our Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He has stated that you cannot change your future, but you can change your habits, and surely your habits would change your future. I'll correlate it when I complete my session. So this is the thing. See, yes, we have been seeing this pandemic situation, or whatever this turbulent situation. This is not new to mankind. Even if you read the epic Ramayana, Mahabharata, you have seen it, you have heard it, or you have read it also. Mankind has gone through a lot of turmoils and turbulences. So this is not new to us. And when coming to industry point of view, see, from 1.0 to 4.0, it has taken from 1.0 to 2.0 took around 84 years. 2.0 to 3.0 it took around 19 years. From 3.0 to 4.0 it was around 42 years. And 4.0 to 5, hardly now we are into 5.0, I think. That is the scenario. And thanks to this pandemic situation, we have reached this. And also you should note, in 1918, when this Spanish flu was there, that's when between 2.0 and 3.0, post Spanish flu, the economy of the world grew well, because all industries were excelling, because that's when this electrical power came into it. Mass production was also started in 1890s. So the Spanish flu was in 1918. Post that, economy grew in full fledged, and If not for the two world wars, the industrial 3.0 would have come even earlier. Post Spanish flu, it would have come somewhere in 1924 or 25. But because of the two world wars, it got delayed to 1969. And similarly, now in 1920, when this pandemic situation came, that is in 4.0, they just ratified the process of industry. Even manufacturing setup has completely changed. And now we are, as we earlier, some 4 or 5 years, they should talk about VUCA world. And my definition of VUCA world, thanks to Radhika for quoting Umaka, is completely different. Generally, what people used to tell is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. I feel that is negative. Now I'm quoting Umaka. It is positive side. Visionary. She was a true visionary. And understanding, U for understanding, C for clarity and agility, which Radhika was quoting. We see even we don't know whether we would be so agile like Uma, wherein she immediately opened a Google Pay. She immediately set up a WhatsApp group for the employee, for the residents of that apartment, and she was able to sell it. See, this is how we all should be. This is a right opportunity. Be visionary. Think you are going to have a great future. Things are going to be completely constructive, and we will be excelling. So that is the vision. Then understanding the situation. Yes, she understood this in this current scenario. She cannot go into the houses. She will not be allowed into the apartments. So she immediately created this WhatsApp group and she opened a Google Pay account and she was able to sell a flowers. She was clarity of thoughts. She was very clear what can be done in this situation and what cannot be done. So she forgot what cannot be done. She decided what can be done and she did it. Agility. So she was more agile because even though I don't know what is her educational background, but she has been agile. She has been able to learn. She has been adapt to the current situation and then she has become a technocrat now actually. It's not like people used to generally tell only if you're qualified, you will be a technocrat. It's not like that. Even nowadays, you see even grandmas who are 85, 90 years old, they chat with their grandchildren who are overseas. Even maybe Saranya would be chatting with who is in Hungary, maybe chatting with their grandma, grandfather, who is in India or in a remote village like where I am now. Through technology, it's agile, because even that's what Umaka has done it. So she is the real example for this current situation. So we all should take that. We all should think like Umaka. That's what I expect from the students who are all educated and who are all going to pass out in a couple of years. Maybe final year students are there, and a couple of years you are all going to become full-fledged engineers. So you need not worry about it, and you have to think like Umaka. What is going to be the future? The business will become complete. There will be a lot of new business models. It will be, you have to manage complexity. For example, see now, Toyota is producing its cars in Maruti plant. Already, Renault Nissan, where I worked, Renault Nissan plus Mitsubishi they were producing cars in the same plant. And there was a talk that Mahindra, now it is stopped. Mahindra will be producing cars in Ford. So like this is happening. And you see this vaccine, Sputnik, is being manufactured in Dr. Reddy's lab. This is latest. Because today we would have read in newspapers also. See, this is how the business models are going to change. And it is going to be completely different. For example, even two-wheelers or name a product that maybe after a couple of years or 4 or 5 years time down the line, we will not seeing one unit or one plant manufacturing or one company manufacturing only one product. They'll have multiple products, like you see in FMCGs. So I worked in HUL. In fact, I have close connect to Pondi. I was working in Hindustan Renewable Plant in Vadamangalam from 2000 to 2003. So HUL, when I started my career, when I was working with them in 2000 to 2003, they had 103 factories. Now they have all of India. Only in India they have 103 plants. Now they have only around 32 plants. Balance all they outsource. They give it to third parties. So these guys produce products for HUL, produce products for Rakit Benkese, where I worked. They produce products for other FMCGs also. That's the business model and a lot of complexity, and managing that business complexity is going to be a challenge for you, and that will be a lovable challenge. You will really love it. And post-COVID, during this, when this lockdown started in 2020 March, automobile industry, I'll talk more about automobiles exclusively. That is, the sales has come down. It was 0 in the month of April. And gradually, once the relaxation came, once manufacturing started, there has been a spike in sales of automobiles, both two-wheelers and four-wheelers. The main reason is public thought we will avoid public transport. We will not go in shared transport. We will go travel individually. We will buy a two-wheeler, or if we can afford, we will buy a four-wheeler. That's how between September to March, there's a spurge in sales of two-wheelers and four-wheelers. So definitely the industry revived. Automobile industry revived. Because of automobile industry, there are other parts manufacturers, supporting companies, they also revived. So they have been doing very well. Okay, now we are into wave 2. This is also short-lived because we know things will not be like this. It's like that. So this is going to be for short term. Then so complete auto, because of after this when they see as per 4.0, most of the activities is supposed to be automated, but it was getting getting converted in a slow process. But this pandemic in 2020 beginning has been a catalyst wherein this has stimulated all the business houses to think differently. So they have gone for automation. And see, now even as she was telling, Radhika was telling that e-sales, e-commerce has picked up post-pandemic, because so all manufacturers produce and send it to the e-commerce people and they deliver it. So there has been completely different. Even food industry has taken their support. So there's complete automation. You order a food, you order a chicken biryani, you get it in 30 or 35 minutes time. Then big data analysis. Post-COVID, that has spurred up because lot of data analysis. When I was working with Renault and Nissan and Rakit Benkiser, that was post during this COVID period, Renault and Nissan, we used to do lot of analysis on data. Why, how people are getting infected, what is the how to avoid it, and what are the reasons, root causes. All that has been done only by analyzing the big data. Only once you do the critical this analysis was done, and subsequently we came up with multiple solutions wherein we could save the employees, wherein we could protect the employees, we could protect the environment. And third thing which I feel is manufacturing and logistics process completely changed. It's not like it was those olden days. Completely lean system, and wherein the process is very simplified. You start somewhere and you get the final product in the same place. So it has been streamlined in such a way that things are happening fast, and you do not run around or move around to get the final product. Similarly, the logistics, just in time, it already is there, but that has got ratified more. And now logistics process completely. When you get a raw material, you get the output also on the same day. That too, when I worked in Rakit Benkiser, where we used to in my plant, I used to manufacture Dettol and Disprin tablets in Mysore. I was setting 3 plants, Rakit Benkiser. So one plant was manufactured Dettol liquid and Disprin tablet. The Dettol, even before this pandemic situation, morning 6 o'clock, which is manufactured, will be out of the gate by 6 a.m. next day morning. That within 24 hours will be out of the gate. But post during this pandemic situation, you did not have time. With every 4 hours, it was getting dispatched. So they have to streamline the logistics process, completely change. So they have to keep in lot of raw materials, dump in, and ensure the finished products are out to the market to support the public. So that's how they change. And security and data management. So post not only COVID, because this is going to be the big challenge, and they have seen a lot of security issues, because I think even Charles had the issue. I had the issue wherein a lot of hacking has been happening. So so all organizations, all not only manufacturing, like the IT companies, they all started talking on security and data management. So this is going to be the boom, and this is going to be the main place where all the youngsters or new engineers will be attracted. Then knowledge worker. Currently, we have assembly worker. It has been moving to knowledge worker. The worker has become high tech. Nowadays, we don't say robotics has been introduced in all manufacturing setups, and workers have become high tech. Even technicians, workmen who are 10th or ITA qualified, now they talk in a different language. They have become more knowledgeable. They talk about 5 years concept. They talk about lean management. They talk about quality. They talk about strategy. So what I did when I was working with Renault and Nissan in 2019, we foresee that things are going to be changing completely in automobile. Now we see driverless cars. They start off in Bangalore. So they manufacture driverless cars. So what happened? They start sending employees to get trained in different institutes, or many experts to come to our plant and train our people. So completely the work has been highly knowledgeable. they are talking like an engineer who has around 10 years experience, like an engineer who has around 10 years experience. So that's the current scenario. Then we are gradually or slow, in fact, we are fastly moving towards gig economy. Gig economy is nothing but post labor laws. Maybe very soon we'll be seeing the new labor laws changing. Once that has been done, gig economy will pick up fast. In other parts of the Western world, we already see gig economy, wherein specialists like anyone, maybe me, Radhika, Saranya, Bhavani or Charles, we are experts in some areas. If I am good in IR expert, Charles is good in public speaking, like that. So we are specialists in one area. So specialists will be hired for short term, will be paid very well, not very well, will be paid heftily, and then once the assignment is over, we'll just leave that work and go to another work, or we may be someone else may be hire us. So that is the gig economy, wherein we will not be having a permanent job, but we will be engaged. We will be earning a lot. Once you acquire the requested skills, you will be earning a lot. So that's how it is going to be there. And things are moving fast towards that. Already we see even in manufacturing setups, things have started because we want to just bifurcate the area and then allot that place, allot that activity to one specialist. Because I identified a specialist to move all these parts so that he will handle this logistics activity. That will not be coming under the purview of the manufacturing company. So like that, different activities are being outsourced. Even HR processes, many processes has been outsourced. So wherein only specialists handle it. So that's how it is there. And things are looking very bright for the future generation. And as Radhika and Charles was telling, need not worry about it. You just improve your skills, enhance your skills, change your habits, wherein you acquire, upskill, unlearn, relearn, and then move. As Abdul Kalam was studying, you change your habits, and then you'll know what you can change your future. To walk, you have to crawl. To run, you have to walk, and to sprint, you have to run. So keep that as the mantra. Just crawling, you cannot sprint. Keep that as your mantra, and then take it up. So with this, I am parking. Thanks, Charles. If anything is required or if you want, I can come again to clarify doubts. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you all.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you so much, sir. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing your experience and your words of wisdom. So one thing is very, very clear, my dear friends. Now, when I was listening to both Radhika and Ponnusamy sir, when there is a problem, there is a lot of opportunity created. Hope you will agree, right? And you name automobile industry when 2020 April it was zero in terms of revenue, in terms of expansion, in terms of sales, and people started realizing that public transport will not work, and the following months the sales has increased. The same way, Amazon, right, or any other e-commerce industry, right? Yesterday, I was talking to another e-commerce industry HR leader. Now, he was mentioning he has closely about 45,000 freshers opening for this year in India. Can you imagine 45,000 freshers hiring just in India alone? So are we prepared, my dear friends? So the next speaker, whom I'm going to introduce, now let's hear. So far we have been, understanding about how industry has been evolving, and now let's understand what skills required. இன்னைக்கு கூகுள்ல போய் தேடினா டாப் 10 ஸ்கில் டாப் 20 ஸ்கில் டாப் 100 ஸ்கில் எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும், ரைட்? மாதா பிதா குரு தெய்வம்னு போய் இப்போ மாதா பிதா கூகுள் தெய்வம் ஆயிடுச்சு, right? That's how, but I don't agree that at all. But yes, technology is helping us, to a larger extent, but definitely mentorship plays a very, very important role in every student's life, right? Before bringing in the next speaker, students or student எனக்கு இருக்கிற கேள்வி எனக்கு இருக்கும், but at the same time every student will have this question. ஒருத்தர் ஹார்ட் ஒர்க்குங்கிறான், ஒருத்தர் ஸ்மார்ட் ஒர்க்குங்கிறான், குட் ஒர்க்குன்னு யாருமே சொல்றது இல்லை. அந்த ஸ்கில்னா என்ன? வாட் ஸ்கில் இண்டஸ்ட்ரி இஸ் லுக்கிங் ஃபார்? இட்ஸ் பிகெஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின் we have, right? I'm doing my 4 years of my engineering, I have my 70-80% of my marks and so on. Will I get an opportunity in Amazon? Will I get an opportunity in Renault? Will I get an opportunity in HCL or DXC Technologies or so? My dear friends, today, how you equip yourself as far as skill is concerned, that plays a very, very important role. So let's get a global perspective, in terms of how, skills are, looked at, from freshers hiring point, and, what are the skills required, especially during this pandemic time, or especially during this virtual season. I would like to invite Sharanya, HR manager, HCL Germany, to share her initial thoughts. Sharanya, I think, yeah, you can unmute. Or would you like to go next? Maybe, yes. No, let Sharanya connect back. I would like to invite the next speaker to come on video. Sharanya was calling. Yeah, let's have Bhavani now from DXC Technologies to share her thoughts. Even last year, 2020, and this year I've seen, DXC Technologies have been hiring a very, very large number as far as freshers hiring is concerned. And Bhavani, your thoughts on what skills you would be looking, from freshers, especially during this virtual season. Yeah.
Hi, Charles. Hope I'm audible to all.
Yes.
Yeah. So while everybody talking about
Bhavani, sorry, your video is not visible. Yeah,
I'm just doing it.
Sure.
Sorry, I feel I have some issues in my camera.
Perfect.
Excuse me.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hope am I visible now?
No. It's okay, Bhavani. Shouldn't be a problem.
Fine. So I've been keenly listening to my previous speakers, Ponno and one more person. So they have been practically speaking what is happening now. So I don't really feel COVID has created a big impact on freshers, because as Charles rightly said, we were hiring 7,500 freshers for the year 2020, and we are planning to double the number for this year. So we'll be hiring 2022 pass outs this year. So not only DXC Technologies, all tier 1 top IT companies have actually making a pyramid correction. So pyramid, okay, in a very normal language, I can say, focus more on entry level hiring than focusing more on lateral hiring. So fresher hiring has become a focus in the recruitment business model now. Looking at this, for this year, post June, July, there would be more demand for BE fresh pass outs. So you have to buckle up, share up. I address to all the student forum, make yourself updated, whatever the technologies on demand, and make yourself aligned to the demands of the corporates. See, few things I want to highlight here. Everybody is talking about technology skills, right? From everything. I mean, it's. I'm not going to elaborate on the data science. It's all adapt yourself in the environment, in the corporate environment, is very much needed. So today I'm sitting in Chennai talking to a person who is in UK, US, and any part of the world. So technology connects us with anybody across the world, but still, it is the same human being getting connected. So what are the qualities an individual really want to get into a IT world or any other sector is required is first and very foremost thing is adaptability, aligning yourself with the behavior which is expected. Behavior in sense, I'm not asking to make yourself a different personality, but the traits and qualities, whatever actually expected to be showcased in a corporate environment. So few attributes I want to highlight here. Culturally competitive. See, what is culturally competitive? Any uh, any hints? See, today we call the entire world as a global village. I may be an Indian, okay, a different nationality. I may be talking to a different person, but still we have a common objective. That is what is a task assigned to us, how we collaboratively work to attain the objective to the organization. So we have a common objective. We may be operating out of different locations, different zones, but we need to attain the common objective. So how do I gel with, how do I get along with my peers? How do I get along with my colleagues? Completely with a different race, different nationality, different language. So that quality, we name it as cultural competitive. So adaptability, culturally competitive, and staying updated on the technologies. So Ponuswamy sir was saying learning and learning. It's very much true. So if you ask me after you say I have a 4 years of degree, is that learning uh, gets over, gets completed? Absolutely no. Throughout, we need to learn and unlearn. Depends on the scenario, depends on the environment we are in. So today I'm in recruitment. Tomorrow I may be in HR. I have to learn what are the gamuts, HR gamuts available. I'm just citing an example. Similarly, focus. I always, in all my sessions with the students, I advise them to do a uh, SWOT analysis of themselves. I hope everybody know what is SWOT: strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. So every individual should understand their strength, also work on their weakness, understand the opportunities and threats. Absolutely, for all the engineering pass outs, this year going to be a very fantastic year. I currently don't have exact numbers of all big companies where they have given the projections of campus hires, but DXC, I can say it should be minimum 12 to 13,000 of freshers we are planning to hire for the year 2022. So the buzzword of IT world is data. So data, you can become a data scientist, data engineers, data architects, and so on. Focus on the technology of your passion, align yourself with your objective, understand, choose what fits you. Okay, rather than saying, okay, the friend in the course pannaru, so I just want to give him a company. Please don't get into that kind of model. So understand what suits you, and that for that reason I'm asking everybody to do a SWOT analysis of yourself, understand what interests you, where you could do better. Any type of industry for that matter, not only IT, maybe manufacturing. Every industry has their own pros and cons, but industry keeps revolving, industry keeps moving in spite of all chaos and crisis. So keep moving, keep updated, keep learning is my mantra for today. Thanks for giving an opportunity.
Thanks, Bhavani. Thanks for your thoughts. Definitely, yes. Being a lifelong learner, and I know that's one of a very very key expectation from many of us, not just from students. Definitely from any professional. I think Ratish says could not hear my voice. Hope my voice is clear. Yes. Yes. So Ratish, maybe you can check your microphone. Yeah. Thank you. So thanks, Sharanya. Thanks for connecting back. Over to you. And I would like to hear the global perspective. Of course, HCL has been, one of an organization which focus more on freshers hiring. your thoughts and what skills required, what you will expect from HR from the HR perspective.
Yeah. So first of all, happy morning to everybody. Thanks, first of all, to Charles for putting me to you all and the college management, principal, managing director, and my colleagues or my friends from the HR fraternity. It's nice to meet young minds, especially on a weekend, Saturday morning. That too, little bit of early morning for me, but yeah, it's always good to hear from you, learn from you, and since I was the last speaker, almost my other HR members from the HR fraternity have almost covered all the key points, like starting with inspiring Umaka. And how young students are getting adapted, and Ponnusamy sir have highlighted on unlearning, learning, upskilling, and these are all probably the behavioral side that everybody is expected to do, and even with experienced people, I learned lots of things during this pandemic, and lots of unlearning things happen because we don't follow the usual HR books now, right? Because considering this is a tricky situation, we are, we are allowed or we are expected to do something more than HR now, because it's handling more from an emotional intelligence perspective. It's not just technical aspects, or usually you can see some memes also, right? And if you're a Facebook or a social media follower, now the memes creation on HR is something like இவங்க என்னதாண்டா பண்றாங்க, அப்ரைசல தவிர இவங்களுக்கு வேலை இல்லை. HR கூப்பிட்டு டிஸ்கஷன் பண்றது, either it will be like hiring somebody, like giving some buttering words or putting some flattering noise, எப்படியாச்சும் ஹையர் பண்ணி எடுத்துடுவாங்க, அண்ட் கிளம்பி போக சொல்லும்போது HR will come into the picture, or appraisal hike இல்லை சொல்றதுக்கு HR. So that is the usual mindset of employee which was happening all these whiles, because I started my career about like 12 years back as a HR. The moment I came to an IT organization, I heard from a technical guy saying that HR உங்களுக்கு என்னதான் actually வேலை இருக்கும், நீங்க வந்து fun to Friday you will conduct, like you have your employee engagement part, ஏதாச்சும் function வந்ததுன்னா it's like HR is asked to on an ethnic dress பண்ணிட்டு வருது, இல்ல fun to Friday conduct பண்றது, or adapting to that festivals we will do some programs. So அது தவிர what is that you do? So that was kind of a key question that come from a normal employee who sits around us. But now things have completely changed. So they see HR as a solution provider now, probably a counselor now, because most of the employees or people's mental as well as physical well-being has gone on a toss during this pandemic. So they expect us to be a kind of a pillar of strength for most of these guys, because I have few employees who just calls me and say that, see Jarni, I want to vent out some problems, can I have a word with you? So you are now becoming more like a counselor, you are now becoming more like a problem solver, or a kind of a buddy for your fellow mates. So all those playing around with this emotional factors, everybody has put on a hat as an emotional intelligence person now. It's not only HR, I see even the managers who handle a team member, probably not a big team, a team member, he needs to be a bit more worried about an emotional intelligence of people, right? We don't know what uncertain things are happening. The person whom we are talking last evening, he may get into a problem like the next day morning, right? So I was speaking to a colleague yesterday evening, and I came to know that she is hospitalized this morning and she's in ICU. So we are working on that emotional factors, and somehow we have to overcome this entire situation. So people think you in a different level now. It's not that people doesn't see you in doing a normal monotonous thing, even like a reporting manager. When you get usually a call from a reporting manager during a normal time, it is like oh, why he's calling now, why he's calling me after the office hours. what is expected to do now. But now as an employee, or probably I don't wear my HR hat now, I'm just wearing my employee hat now. So when I do that, when I get a call from my manager, it is kind of a relax or kind of a relief now I'm getting. Like, I feel that, the organization seems to be more connected with the employee. So all those connect factors and the behavioral aspects come into the picture. And I'm a bit keen in probably, or highlighting this emotional intelligence factor over here as a behavioral aspect, because now employee is not only playing a role of a team leader, every employee is considered as a leader. So every employee have to be a decision maker, because during this uncertain time, there is no time to even think out, or there is no time to even consult with somebody, your mentor or your advisor, to say, can I do this? Can I do that? No, you are a leader. If you know that this is right for you, you're doing it. So it's like more of a strategy that everybody is empowered during the situation. Everybody is thinking on into their feet, and they are deciding on their daily routines, or something beyond their boxes, or whatever it is. So coming to a global overview, I would say that currently, in the European side, considering this data protection is one of the key point which has been highlighted when we are all operating from home, because in especially in European countries, this data privacy is something which is very, very, very critical. So there are also legal and laws which says that no data should travel apart from EU, as in it should be either the part of the normal data privacy law, that the no information or no data should go across EU. So handling these kinds of risky or critical nature, I would say the industry here is more focusing on cyber security, as well as data protection or data collection. That kind of a skill is, I'm seeing that it is lately, it is getting into a boom in considering the European markets. And of course, as you say, that Internet on Things is another thing, that we want everything in one gadget, right? In one store you should have all the information. So I could see that in HCL also, that's a company which I represent. We have now recently formed a complete line of business which is called as IoT, which is Internet on Things, and we are hiring many employees in that field, especially, as I said, that it is more from an European perspective, because as I said, data management, data protection, and of course handling with IoT is a key factor that is happening. And other than that, as your front end developers like UX, UI, and you have always a demand for your programming languages, that is going in hand. But these two skills are kind of topping up in European markets. And as I said, that whatever skills you have, whatever technical skills you acquire, the current situation of course needs a leader. It's not just a team member or not just a performer. You have to be a leader. So I would advise, or don't take it as an advice, it's a friendly information. You can say that be a leader, be a good decision maker, because I always say to myself, you know about the situation better than anybody else, right? So when you are into a personal problem and you are asking your friend to help, okay, I'm just taking a few minutes to say this. So probably I would say that you are the best decision maker there rather than your friend. Probably suggestion can be there, but the end decision should be yourself. So I would say, I would probably wind up saying that be a good leader, think in your own feet, and possess the right technical skills what the market demands. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Sharanya. Thanks. Now, rightly said. Now, today a 17-year-old student who join our organization, we respect their thoughts, we respect their leadership, and so on. That's how industry has been evolving. It's not the hierarchy, it's not the top leadership or the management of an organization, my dear friends. Today, every student or every engineer who step into the organization are considered respected as leader. My dear friends, this can't happen overnight. When you get an offer letter in HCL, join the company, then I'll become a leader. No. Right? It should be in our DNA. It should be in our education system. Most of the institutions today, if you look at, I'm sure this specific Sri Venkateshwara as well, will acknowledge, and they have been having very nice best practices as well, which I've heard. So every institution tries to build a culture of a corporate environment, even in an institution. Right? Now they hear from students. They hear the feedback from students, and they try to adapt. They try to bring in some new change. If you have some concern, that's how every industry is evolving. That's how every institution has been trying to create leaders, not just to clear your first level or first a company interview, my dear friends, for your lifelong interview. That's what I believe in. Today, Sri Venkateshwara College is not preparing you for your first interview, my dear friends. I repeat. You are not preparing for your first interview. You are preparing for your lifelong interview. That's the skill which we have to learn. That's the skill which we have to adapt. That's the skill which we have to practice. Before getting into the next discussions, we will not take much time. We'll try to see how best and how interesting we can. And I would like to have the next session, more of an interactive session. And students, my dear students, if you have any questions, please drop in your questions in the chat channel. And I'll try to take the questions from you, by looking at the chat channel. Take a moment, ask any of your questions. It could be a silly question, it could be a very, very intellectual question. Don't worry about it. Try to participate. Level of support, yeah. So try to communicate, my dear friends. Now, the next few minutes is yours. Take some time, ask your questions in the chat channel. I'll wait for your questions without taking waiting or without taking much time. I would like to invite the other panel members to come on video if possible. And maybe I'll start with Sharanya. Sharanya, today we have been talking about virtual world. We have been talking about virtual connect. We have been talking about work from home, learning from home. Mm-hmm. All right. So even for us, it was not new. Taking 1 day or 2 day work from home in a month, that was common. But one fine day, our CEO asking us to go back home, and he didn't call me. It's almost 1 year, 2 months now, right? And my CEO says that no, you are not going to come back.
Correct.
Right? Long run, next 20 years or 10 years, you be there wherever you are comfortable with. So what are some of the tips you will give for students to adapt learning from home so that they are prepared to work from home?
Okay. Personally speaking, I will just correlate with my personal experience. It was November 2019 where I was on my maternity leave. And yeah, I was blessed with a baby boy, and he's now 1.5 years. And the moment I came back from the maternity leave, office announced, let's shut down. Everybody go and work from home. So it was like a hooray situation for me, because eventually I should have gone to my boss and I should have asked him, because having a 3-month-old baby and the difficulties of coming to office and working on that crucial time, and especially when you don't have a family system over here, because we are all here for work, and that connectivity with the family is very, very minimal, right? Because my parents were there for a few months to support me, but however, but the family system is not with you to give your that complete positivity around. So I was about to ask to my boss, saying that I'm thinking that if I can work from home for another 2 or 3 months till my baby is like 6-7 months, and then probably I will come back to office. and my boss is a German guy. He works, his working location is home office in his employment letter. Okay, so there is a difference. So he said that, why are you asking permission to work from home? You know, I know wherever you are delivering your work, I'm sure that you will do your work. And I don't mind about which chair you sit. It can be your chair at your home office, or it can be an office chair wherever you exactly work. Deliver your work. I'm fine wherever you are. And as I said, eventually, then I said him that I need not ask this question to you, because anyways you have announced now it's pandemic. So there is a small cultural differences here when it comes to Europe or probably geographies. Already existence of home offices was prevailing. In terms of HCL also, we don't have a delivery center in Germany, or we don't have a office, a big office setup with all the servers. We don't have. We just have a small walk-in sales office where it is just an office with just two, 3 rooms, where only the normal admin, HR, or the support functions usually comes daily. Already that culture of working from in home is there, and it was prevailing already. So people were at least the I'm talking about the EU guys. They were a bit easy to adapt into the situation than our folks in the other side of the world. But again, the productivity part was predominantly increasing high, because the normal coffee breaks in office were cut, the lunch breaks were cut. And eventually we have to go to the employees and say, guys, you will just work only for the working hours. Please manage, your regular routine, like, having food or taking your commercial breaks or whatever it is. Don't overwork. So that was a message we have to give to our employees to make sure that their work-life balance gets. Then employees started investing more. I would say that, we have published a report last quarter, where I would say that the learning and development has increased within individuals at least for minimum of 20%. So the employees are investing time for learning here when they are working from home. Rather than the regular routines, they are doing the regular works, as well as taking care of the family. That is happening parallelly. Plus, they are investing more time on their learning. So the learning curve during this pandemic has significantly increased during this time. And even if you say a self-learning perspective, I'm working, say, 8 to 10 hours per day, because as you know that situations are a bit crazy. Plus, every individual, and including me, we are investing on learning. So during this pandemic, I was able to pick up corner, which is in Ambattur. Travel time is almost 3 hours. So I even invest at least 5 hours for my daily travel, sitting in office and working for 9 hours. It was a jam-packed.
Get updated.
Right. So Charles, I think the resources for students, if they tell me that they are not aware, I will not believe that they are not aware about the technologies that they will have to update themselves. One reason being, everything is available in open source. So I would just want to ask a simple question to all of the students over here. I think there are about 200 plus participants in this particular session. So how many of you guys have an account in LinkedIn? So probably, if in case you have, you can probably drop an S in the chat box. So just introspect yourself. How many of you have account? If I'll put it differently. How many of you guys have account in Instagram? So probably, I think I'm very sure that most of you guys will have an account in either Facebook or Instagram. But I do not know, because as of raise their hands, they will 80% to 90% will definitely have an IG account or an FB account. But most of the guys do not actively participate in LinkedIn, or they do not have an account in LinkedIn. Only after they start their job search, they even start to create an account in LinkedIn. So I would want to request all of the students, you should all be active in LinkedIn, and that's when you create the connectivity. Because at least in this virtual phase, being connected and staying connected with the industry, the media, one of the mediums Why do I even have to go and pick up examples outside? I myself will tell, during the pandemic, I shifted to a different org, and this opportunity came to me via LinkedIn. So it was one fine day, there was a LinkedIn message from the recruiter from Amazon asking if I'm interested in the role. So this is how I think you should equip yourself, because one predominant key thing here, guys, is networking. So without networking, nothing can be done. So I urge, if not till yesterday you do not have an account, it is fine. But after the session, probably I would urge all of you to create an account in LinkedIn. And to answer Priyadarshini's question as to what technologies you will have to get updated on. So I think when you click on any open resource, you would get to know, you will get to see all these technologies: artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data analytics, cyber securities. And probably coming back to technology, there are a lot of technologies which are popping up now. Chef, MongoDB, probably you can learn a lot of risk and security management. And I told you cyber securities. These are all couple of technologies that are trending in digital era. So when you introspect and ask yourself, if I even know any two of these technologies that I just quoted a while back. So just introspect and see. And I don't think so. You guys will lack resources as to what technologies you can probably groom yourself on. It is about your interest, and it is about what step you take to probably learn about these technologies. And coming back to open sources of where you can learn these technologies, so probably there is a lot of platforms that are available. LinkedIn Learning is a freely available platform where you can probably register and start learning content. I think LinkedIn Learning is one of the easiest platform. It has a lot of nano videos with a lot of technological contents, which is readily available for the students. It is just in a click, guys. You guys are all having luxury, because I think anybody who is in this session will definitely have a connection which gives at least 1 GB data free of cost every day, if not for 2 GB. So I think 1 GB, instead of spending it in downloading content from all your entertainment, yes, it is required. We do need entertainment in this tough time. But then my request is at least spend some amount of time in learning. So when you have a lot of platforms that are available, especially as I told you, LinkedIn Learning is there, Coursera is there, which Bhavani was mentioning, Udemy is there, Udacity is there, and there is also Skillshare, Khan Academy. There are a lot of open source platform, guys. So probably just make a note of all the platforms that I told you. If in case you're not aware of these platforms, it is freely available. It is open source learning platform. And all these platforms, it isn't complex. It uses nano videos for students to easily digest the content. So it is not like very complex. So now you guys, you all have luxury. So with the use of technology, with the use of internet, just sit, create a LinkedIn account, join in LinkedIn Learning platform, join in Udemy. So whichever you feel, just go see their UI, whichever you feel is very user friendly, which will definitely help you. Go join, download that account or create an account and start learning. So my answer is simple, guys. With respect to technologies that you will have to learn, it is available in terms of which platform you will have to use to learn the content. Apart from whatever syllabus that your college is imparting, probably you will have your own syllabus and content going on. But then one important thing is that apart from all these things, how you upskill, how you learn, how you use, and how you leverage the platforms that are available is also very, very important and very crucial. And probably at this time, I just to reiterate, it is about how you equip yourself and how you grab the opportunities. Opportunities are there, and platform is there, and you also know which are the technologies that you need to focus on. It is about the effort. Are we taking that effort? Are we taking that effort to learn the new skill? Are we taking that effort to probably register to the platform, freely available platform, and learn? So I am not sure out of 200 students, how many of you have an account in LinkedIn Learning, or how many of you have an account in Coursera or Udemy, or even I'm not sure if there is any thing that is freely available to you that your institution is offering. So these are some things that you need to introspect, guys. So with respect to if you tell me we need a session to learn about the trending digital technologies, I will at least not agree, because now the era is digital era, and we have access to all the content that is available under the sun. So there is you need not need a person to come and tell you do this, do that. So do not wait until that point for a person to come tell you, to spoon feed you, to tell these are the things that you need to do. Everything is available, guys. It is a race. So indeed, if we say there are a lot of opportunities, do everybody get a job? No. Only people who take that effort, who put in that effort to probably learn something new, to an what extent they're equipping themselves, only that is making a difference. So opportunities are there, but how do you leverage that opportunity? How do you take the stride on yourself is up to you. So this is the place which is very important for you to upskill, to learn, to update yourselves, and how agile you are. Because there was an interview question also which is posted by Ainar sir, I think. So coming back to that platform, so even as a recruiters, it was very new for us also to probably decide on which technology to use to conduct virtual interviews for. So it was an overall change, overall transformation that we were seeing. So there are a lot of differences when you interview a person in person and doing it in virtual interview. So during physical interview, it is much easier for the interviewer also. And as a student, most of you guys were also giving feedback that it was easier for us when we were giving interview in person. It was easy to convince the interviewer. But now everything is virtual. So the interviewer doesn't know you. And all you have is just 20 or 30 minutes of time to impress. So all your study that you're doing in your for the last 4 years, you will have to sum it up in the 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So as an interviewer, if I'm coming to interview you, I'm seeing Priyadarshini only for 20 minutes or maximum 30 minutes, and I decide the content what she has. So this 20-minute preparation is a lengthy journey. It is not just 20 minutes. For the 20 minutes, you need to put in a lot of effort. Whatever academy I told you, whatever skill set I told you, you need not be master of all technologies. Just pick up one. And the questions that the panelists are going to ask you in the interviews is from your resume. And if I need to give you one tip, which will help you for the interviews, do not put anything that you do not know in the resume. So my friend has put some workshop, or my friend has put some implant training without doing it, or without even in the group project. Most of the interviews which I've sat, I've seen what is your part in this project. They will not be able to explain. So it is usually a 4-member project that we do. And so we have seen students that, you've done an excellent project, but can you tell me your part? That is when people struggle. They do not know which part they did. So it is very important that you will have to be very confident about what you put in your resume. So the 20 minutes is all about the content that is there in your resume, and that is becoming very crucial for you to understand every word that is there in your resume. And especially during the virtual setup, guys, you will be having a lot of challenges. Challenges. One is content preparation, which you will prepare and you will go sit for the interviews. But second thing, with respect to internet connectivity, if that is not right, with respect to lighting, if that is not right, with respect to the headphones, if you're not able to hear it, all these factors will impact the 20 minutes time. So how prepared are you? How prepared are you in terms of facing the 20 minutes with ensuring that the infrastructure is ready with respect to the knowledge that you have is up to you. So in the virtual setup, students have to prepare for their infrastructure to a large extent. I do not say that everybody will have the luxury to have a good infrastructure in place, but at least have that bare minimum setup ready. Have that bare minimum. It's not probably you should sit in some place which has a extremely good lighting and get a very good headphones. I'm not telling that, but have the basic infrastructure ready. I think most of you guys who are listening got my point. Have the basic infrastructure ready. If the interview is at 11 o'clock, sit with the setup. Everything is ready by 10:30, and ensure your cam is right, your audio is right. And these are some small things which you will have to be prepared for the virtual interview setup. So nobody is going to tell you that to come an interview. As a recruiter, I'll only tell you the time of the interview and who probably I'll tell you the date of the interview, but I'm not going to tell about the setup. And setup is up to you. So you need to ensure for your smooth interview, you need to ensure what are the infra that I would need, what is the content that I would need. So on that note, I would want to give it back to Charles.
Thanks, Radhika. Thanks for covering Professor Dr. Ayanar's question as well, and in a very, very simple, a format where students can understand and be prepared. Thanks once again. If we have Pundusamy sir and Bhavani, I'd like to ask next question to you. Bhavani, you are there?
I'm there.
Sir?
Yes,
Yes.
Charles, we are here.
I'll listen to Ponnusamy sir now. Sir Ponnusamy sir, I'm coming back to the same question what INR placement director from Tyagaraja Polytechnic College has asked. So how the virtual interviews are happening, especially from the core engineering companies, and how do you, because in technology industry to a very reasonable extent where it's more towards technology, it's easy to find out their skills and so on. So how core engineering companies are handling freshers hiring, especially in this virtual mode, sir?
See, actually, not all manufacturing companies are doing this virtual hiring, the two for campuses. But whoever does it, maybe 50%, around 50%, they ask a lot of questions or what on the projects they have done, and they ask them to explain in detail. And they also, in fact, before doing all this, they get all the inputs through the placement directors or placement officers, inputs about the students, and then share what is the requirement from the manufacturing facility. And then they basis that, they just see how the students are matching. And in fact, when they do this, they just ask them individual, they just try to fix it individually. Maybe, as you rightly said, technology-based companies, they do it differently, and for them, the skill sets are different. Manufacturing, just we can, what we do is, in fact, we did for, I did not do for now, but I supported for another company, wherein we were just asking the students a lot about the projects which they have done, and we are asking them to explain in detail. And so that we get to understand how much the student is capable, or how much the student has really done, whether he has done that project, and whether he has understood the concept of the project, and then how he is delivering it. Plus, we ask them other questions, general questions only, and about teamworks and all that stuff. Otherwise, not much on technology based, because we know theoretically these kids would have studied a lot, but when they come, only when they come to the factories or places of work, they can understand. Because, for example, and one of the questions I asked, how many is there in 1 inch? That guy was struggling actually to answer how many is there in 1 inch. That's a basic question, no? But whereas if you ask a local guy who is working in a workshop, he could tell it's 25.4 sir. He will play straight away tell. So this type of things, we check with them whether they are strong in basics. So that's how it's been done. But by and large, the manufacturing companies, as far as I know, or whom I've seen, they try to avoid virtual interviews. They try to take you only in the personal interviews actually, or else they shortlist through the virtually, and then ask them to come for the personal interview directly. Because this is a different cup of tea, because we want to see them physically also. Because physical appearance is also one of the requirement basic. That too, engineering industries where the physical appearance is very much required. Physical, not handsome guy, but at least well built. At least he should be able to do some physical activity. Because if he's been put in a shop floor as a supervisor, he has to sometimes lift the jigs also. He has to operate the jig. So for that, at least some physical appearance is required. So that we generally ask them to come directly after shortlisting. We ask them to come directly to the plant, and then here some students have been also rejected based on the physical this thing, as well as maybe to do some technical discussion. They would have not, what they told in the interview would have been different, but virtual interview. But when they come here physically, there's some change. So some guys get rejected, but that is only around 5% to 10% only. 90% whom we are selecting through virtual, they are through actually. Hope.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes sir, very much. நீங்க சொன்னதை பார்த்தா ஒரு சிம்பிளா எனக்கு ஞாபகம் வருது. வீட்டுல அப்பா அம்மா ஒரு பம்ப் ரிப்பேர்னாலும் சரி, ஒரு ஃபேன் ரிப்பேர்னாலும் சரி, போய் ஒரு இன்ஜினியரிங் படிக்காமலே போய் கை வச்சு ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுவாங்க. ரைட், தட் ஷோஸ் ஹேண்ட்ஸ் ஆன். நீங்க சொன்னது அது கூட தான் எனக்கு கனெக்ட் பண்ண முடிஞ்சது. வெல் செட் சார். எஸ், how practically students can take the work and do, especially in the shop floor. Yeah, thank you, sir. I'll come back to you for the closing remarks, sir, and also for a few questions. Before that, I would like to ask Bhavani. One question from Gandhi Raj. How to manage the environment after getting into the company? I repeat, how to manage the environment after getting into the company?
Okay, this is what I think in my previous session was talking about the adaptability. Yes. So that has come into the picture. Understand, so simple. first make yourself ready, understand the organizational culture, because every company has their own culture in place, has their own policies, vision. So every individual need to understand, give respect to organizational policy, procedures, process, and culture. So in some companies, say now a typical example in IT company nowadays, specifically even before COVID, most of the interviews are happening over online on virtual modes. But needless to say, now almost all interviews, even last year we have conducted the campus on online only. So it's an online platform. So considering that virtual mode, so most of the companies have completely permanently gone on virtual mode of interview process now. Specifically, I'm talking with respect to IT companies. So if you ask me what is the percentage, how they really gauge the candidate? So the interviewer may gauge the candidate in terms of technical experience, background, but only the HR and the management pitch in and understand how this individual, this resource, culturally fit into our organization. So that culture, see, it is not a rocket science. It is not becoming a, it is not a alien or any very difficult thing to understand. Be yourself, but get aligned to the environment. Get aligned to the organizational objectives. Align yourself with the policies process. So whatever there in the practice, first understand, get to know, gel, get along with the colleagues. So be flexible, adaptable, and be a good communicator to understand the environment. Simple. ஊரோட ஒத்துப்போ is a very common thing, but and அதை வந்து நான் பெட்டரா சொல்ல போனா கனியன் பூங்குட யாவரும் கேளீர். So the global it's a global village. The entire world is a global village. Sitting here we can talk to anybody in elsewhere in the world. So யாவரும் கேளீர், யாதும் ஊரே யாவரும் கேளீர்ன்றது specifically applies in today's scenario when we are all connected on the technology backup. So under the cultural fitment is we have two basic in IT companies. We have two basic things, right? Service organizations and product organizations. So service organizations' work culture is completely different from product companies, right? Many environment in the HCL has their own policies and process, own culture, and Fresh Desk may have a different culture. Similarly, Polaris may have, may have a different, Intellecta may have a different culture, DXC may have a different culture, Google may have. So understand where you are going, get aligned to it. That is how you have to get aligned to the environment.
Thanks, Bhavani. Rightly said. Now, how we are open to adapt to a culture. That's very, very important. Right now, we haven't been prepared for this virtual connect, but slowly we started adapting. Without even seeing 200 people face, now we have been interacting through this virtual platform. Without even seeing the interviewer, now we are trying to participate. And share about us. And so these are some of the simple learning. That's how we start adapt to the new changes. I think Vicky has asked, has shared his thoughts as well as he has shared his question as well. Mostly, I see Radhika has already covered, and if in case if any one of the speakers, Radhika, if in case if you want to add any, maybe you can add. And just to touch upon Vicky's question, I strongly believe that beyond our college curriculum, I don't see much importance in terms of doing a lot of additional certifications, just to add on our portfolios. Meaning, for example, I have my basic. For example, now if you are from an IT department or a computer science department, now you learn the basic programming You learn Java, you learn DB, you learn Python, you learn machine learning, you learn AI, IoT, and so on. And if you want to get into an IT firm, or if you want to build in your career in information technology industry, I feel that's more than sufficient. Or maybe if you have given the best and set your foundation strong from your college and as part of your curriculum, as part of the subjects, or the programming languages which are covered, and then if you want to take up an additional certification, yes, you can. And just for namesake, having 10 certification, 20 certification, I have done that, I have done this, but I'm not a master of that particular expectation, right? So that's very, very important, my dear friends. Radhika, would you like to add anything? Because today that's been one of a trend where students just add on, a lot of certifications to their profile, especially during this virtual. Now, I have seen many virtual conclaves wherein students were waiting, asking for their certificates in terms of participating in certificate, right? So how does that matter, Radhika?
Okay. So I think being in the campus recruitment for the last 4 years together and seeing different industries, like being in service as well as product. So these certifications, for the sake of it, will definitely not help. So as we're told, during this pandemic, I think most of them would have gotten their maximum number of webinar certifications. any resume, when we see now, there is a list of webinars that they've attended, there are certifications that they've got. But actual problem lies is during the interview, when the interviewer is asking for, okay, you've attended this webinar, can you talk about this concept? And that's when they get caught, right? So that makes it very important for I as a student to get the essence of what I am actually looking for. So if in case I am going to, that is what I told in my previous thing also, you need not be master of all technologies. That will only confuse you. So take any two technologies and try to crack it. Any concept and anything that they ask, say for example, be it from data structures, or they ask you queries in probably any specific technology like Java, .NET, or whatever, you should be able to crack it. So it isn't important for you to put n number of technologies in your resume. So these are all I'm telling you because practically I've seen which segment of student crack the interview. And I think everybody is striving to meet that end objective in place. So considering that trend, the number of webinar certification really doesn't matter. If in case your webinars can only open your eye and make you know about certain technology, but after that, getting into the intricate details of the technology, extremely understanding the in-depth concepts of how it works and how it can be practically implemented is completely up to a student. So don't, if you have knowledge about it. If not, pick your area of interest and probably to do a course learning more about the technology. And Vicky also told about how many of it is freely available. So I'll ask the question back. How many of the freely available content has the student exhausted, and how many of you are looking for a paid content? So if you introspect, not all the available open source content students would have exhausted. So before probably asking the question, just understand, and instead of spending too many probably financial or manual efforts in studying about all technologies, guys, being in the field for more than 4 years, I'll tell you, pick one or two technologies, master it. And I think that is more than enough for you to crack any interview. Any interview, take it from me, the interviewer can ask questions only from your resume. Most of the interviews will go by what you lead, and most of the interviewers do not ask you out of box questions. So practically on the ground, for you to get a job, pick two technologies, master it. And whatever you know, put it in the resume. This is the simple mantra for you to get a job.
Rightly said. Thanks, Radhika. Thanks for that clarity. Next question to Sharanya. Maybe we'll ask Sharanya. Two folks have asked, Dinesh and Janardhan asked now, what are the skills required to get into HR domain? Sharanya, would you like to take this question?
Yeah, I can. So again, as I said, apart from bookish knowledge or apart from, the certifications, see if you're from a non-IT background, first of all, a company should be able to provide an opportunities. To be very honest, I was from a media background. I completed my Viscom and joined HCL. I joined HCL as a internal communication, spoke for a delivery unit as a line of business. So from there, it all took me to the HR aspect. So first of all, I would say that the company is willing to take. And when I was aspiring to get into a HR field while I was doing an internal communication role, most of the other IT companies asked me for an MBA with a HR, or probably an MS in HRM, or something which is relevant to, or MSW, something too relevant to perform the job. So some of the companies do expect to have a degree in their HR, and but I would say that few companies definitely, when you are performing the role and you have lots of this internal job postings or internal job opportunities where you can switch your career, probably with an internal team, or with some certain knowledge, always you can move internally within team members. Some companies do have that provision. And taking a HR role, as I said, that rather than with the certification, just do a bit of background on what the role demands, what are the subject expertise that you have to do it. It is not just, if you're doing a recruitment job, it is not just calling people through your LinkedIn profile and say that, hi, I have a job opportunity, can you come for the interview? So if you're a recruiter, definitely the position you're hiring for, probably you're hiring a Java developer role, you need to have a bit of knowledge on the technical front when you are hiring somebody on a Java front, right? You cannot simply just go to a career web page and say that, hey, come on, I'm a recruiter, I'm calling for this job. So definitely, if you're going to want to process a career, have the technical knowledge slightly, have the business knowledge. Then, of course, few companies, as I said, that they may need this MBA or a relevant qualification to do that job. But few companies are, as I said, that I have been empowered to take up this job like 11 years back without a degree. So baseline is that be a subject matter expert of whatever you want to do, and then you knock the doors. I'm pretty much sure that the team who is going to take you will be convinced to hire you for that position.
Thank you, Sharanya. Thank you so much. Now, before having the last round of thoughts from all the speakers, now you can take 1 minute of your time to think and share your closing remarks, especially during this tough time, especially during this virtual season. Maybe any closing remarks you would like to share. Please come on live and share your thoughts. And my dear friends, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for sharing your questions as well. I'm sure it's very nice now. Right now, it's almost 2 hours now. Closely about 190 people have been staying online, listening patiently. I'm sure this tough time will pass. As Radhika rightly said, she has mentioned again and again. We really hope we have a better and a brighter future for us. All right. It's more of how patient we are, how perseverance we have, to equip ourselves to bounce back. Yeah. And that's very, very important. இவ்வளவு நாள் சிங்கம் மாதிரி அமைதியா கூண்டுக்குள்ள வீட்டுல பதுங்கி இருந்தது எதுக்கு அப்படின்றது definitely time will speak. So my dear friends, don't get disappointed. Don't be worried about what's happening. Let's worry about what we have been doing so far. கமலஹாசன் சொல்ற மாதிரி தான், எதிர்பாராததை எதிர்பார்க்கிறது தான் இந்த கோவிட் போஸ்ட் கோவிட் era. Right? And that's how life has been. நான்லாம் வீட்டுல ஒரு வீக்கெண்ட் அமைதியா உட்கார்ந்தது கிடையாது. Every Saturday, madly I travel. That's how my last 10-15 years have been. Today, even in this virtual connect for the last 1 year, no other choice. Coming on a video I was not comfortable at all. I'm being very open, my dear friends. 2000 பேர் 10,000 பேர் 15,000 பேர் இருக்கிற மேடைகள்ல நான் பேசியிருக்கிறேன். வீடியோல இந்த மாதிரி முகம் தெரியாத 400 பேருக்கும் 1000 பேருக்கும் பேசுனீங்கன்னா இன்னும் still I'm learning. So that's how life has been. எதிர்பாராததை எதிர்பார்ப்பது தான் வாழ்க்கை. That's the post-COVID era, my dear friends. நீங்க வந்து 10 ஸ்கில் நீங்க என்ன எதிர்பார்க்குறீங்க அமேசான்ல இருந்து என்ன எதிர்பார்க்குறீங்க ஹெச்எல்னா எங்களுக்கே தெரியாது. I'm being very open, my dear friends. That's how industry has been. Right. I would like to share one story before I ask the closing remarks to all the speakers, my dear friends. Now, hope you know very, very trending news about Zoho recently. One of our employee, Abdul, so many years back, I think 7 years back, he joined as a security guard. Right. And students பார்த்திருப்பீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஒரு செக்யூரிட்டி கார்டு நார்த் இந்தியால இருந்து சென்னை வந்து வேலைக்கு மகேந்திரா சிட்டி பால் சிட்டில ட்ரை பண்ணியிருக்காரு. தென் ஹி கேம் டு ஜோஹோ. அவருடைய வேலை மெயின் கேட் ஆர் அந்த ஃப்ளோர் ரிசப்ஷன்ல when employees step out of the company, லேப்டாப் எல்லாம் செக்யூரிட்டி செக் அந்த ஸ்கேனிங் எல்லாம் பாக்குற வேலை. Now he has done that. He has been doing. One fine day, late midnight, one of a senior project manager, he has noticed him. ஏதோ உன் கண்ணில் உன்னை பார்க்கறேன். Something I'm seeing you, from your eyes. நாளைக்கு என்ன வந்து மீட் பண்ணு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு கேள்வி. வேர் ஆர் யூ ஃப்ரம்? எந்த ஊர்ல இருந்து நீ வந்திருக்க? இங்க என்ன பண்ணிட்டு இருக்க? என்ன படிச்சிருக்க? என்ன தெரியும்? ஹார்ட்லி இந்த 3-4 கேள்விதான் அந்த மிட் நைட் அந்த செக்யூரிட்டி கார்டை பார்த்து கேட்டிருக்கிறார். He was closely about 19-20 years, if I'm not wrong. அந்த கேள்விக்கு அவன் கொடுத்த ஒரே ஒரு பதில் இன்னும் எனக்கு ரொம்ப அதை யோசித்தே பார்க்க முடியல. எனக்கு ஜாவா தெரியும், ஸ்கூல்ல படிச்சது ஞாபகம் இருக்கு. நாட் இன் காலேஜ், மை டியர் ஃப்ரெண்ட். ஸ்கூல்ல படிச்சது 9th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்ல நான் படிச்ச ஜாவா எனக்கு தெரியும். ஓகே, நெக்ஸ்ட் டே மார்னிங் வந்து மீட் பண்ணுன்னு சொல்லியிருக்காரு. தட் மேனேஜர் met him next day along with this next team lead. They were able to see some spark from this guy. Today, you won't believe, my dear friends, a security guy without even having a degree, without even having all your 10-20 certifications, my dear friends. Today, he is one of a software developer in our company, in Zoho, or in any other company, my dear friends. Today, industry is not looking for just your degrees alone. Degree mukyam. Don't take me wrong. Degree is important. Your mark is important. Your gold medal is important. Mark or degree or your certification alone is not important. There are so many other aspects, which is considered as part of the recruitment, my dear friend. So that's closely about 25% of our population in Zoho, they don't even have a degree certificate. Though காலேஜுக்கே போகாதவங்க 25% இருக்காங்க எங்களுடைய கம்பெனி. That's the world we live in. Second example, today, if you look at, I'm sure Amazon would have had a bunch of, or HCL or DXC or Renault Nissan would have had a bunch of about 50 colleges, top colleges, where they have been doing, freshers hiring year after year, or every 3 years they add on new colleges as well. But today, that's not the trend. Today, the platform is open. Remote, பாண்டிச்சேரியிலையோ கடலூர்லயோ நாகப்பட்டினத்திலயோ இருக்கிற ஒரு சாதாரண ரிமோட் வில்லேஜ்ல இருந்து ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட் கேன் பார்ட்டிசிபேட் இன் a virtual interview and crack an interview and join a company called Google or join a company called Amazon or HCL, right? So that's the common. இவ்வளவு நாள் பேக்ரவுண்ட சொல்லியே நம்மளுடைய சமுதாயத்துல தமிழ்நாட்டுல ஓட்டியிருப்போம். இன்டர்வியூக்கு வந்தா முதல் பதில் வந்து இந்த ஃபேமிலியில இருந்து வரேன். அதை யாரும் காது கொடுத்து கூட கேட்க போறது கிடையாது. Nobody is concerned about what background you come from, my dear friends. What is the capability you have, right? What you can bring into the organization as a differentiator. That means a lot, my dear friends. So, when Uma Akka can innovate, right? When this Abdul Rahim can innovate and see how he can, build a career and how he can open up, கம்யூனிகேட். அன்னைக்கு அந்த ஜாவான்ற வார்த்தை யூஸ் பண்ணலாம் அன்னைக்கு நைட்னா மேபி நெக்ஸ்ட் டே இன்னைக்கு இந்த கம்பெனில ஒர்க் பண்ணிருக்க முடியாது. அவர் அதை கிராக் பண்ணிருக்க முடியாது. ஸோ இன்டர்வியூ இஸ் நாட் த பிசிக்கல் இன்டர்வியூ, த 4 page or 6 page of your resume, my dear friends. Interview starts from today. I will not forget, Vicky, who has asked this question. I will not forget Priyadarshini, who has asked this question. Maybe 2 வருஷம் கழிச்சு அன்னைக்கு ஒரு செமினார்ல நடத்துனீங்களே, I've asked a question during that panel, and we would like to hear from people like Priyadarshini or people like Janardhan, right? So be open, be participative, be communicative. That's what the virtual world looking for. I would like to have the speakers to share their closing remarks before we conclude. Over to Bhavani. Bhavani, you can share your thoughts. Maybe you can take 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, students were asking about certifications. I encourage them to take part in more forums, like, where they can showcase their technical expertise. Maybe now, of course, a lot of virtual forums are happening, like technical symposiums, hackathons, codathons, techathons. So they can participate more and more workshops, which would be help them in experimenting their practical. Transferring their whatever they have learned to a practical experience. So advise them to get into more and more symposiums, technical forums, and above all, I also advise them. I think wrong in learning a different language. Definitely, bilingual engineers seem to be in demand, so they can also learn foreign languages like Japanese or German, which would be a additional value for their resumes. Thanks.
Thanks, Bhavani. Thank you so much. Sharnya, your thoughts?
Yes. So first of all, thank you for listening, all of you. And ஒரு சின்ன விஷயம். So probably in case எல்லா இன்டர்வியூலையும் வந்து நம்ம வின் பண்ணணும்னு அவசியம் கிடையாது. Probably as you are getting into that urge, like most of you are like the final year students and you're all waiting for your placements. So because other speakers have told you, what certifications or what are the things you have to do. I'm just taking these things lightly. So first interview நான் வந்து clear பண்ணணும் அந்த ஒரு attitude வேண்டாம். நமக்கு லாஸ்டா இருந்தா கூட பெஸ்டா கிடைக்கும் அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு மைண்ட் செட் think through it, because எல்லாருமே இப்போ ஒரு stressful thingல போயிட்டு இருக்கோம். as focus on your personal well-being, take care of your health, and that's more important. fulla உட்காந்துட்டு stressல உட்காந்து படிச்சுட்டு I have to get this job somehow. Everybody has family pressure, everybody has financial pressure. I have gone through that like some years back. So don't just carry with that thought. நான் எனக்கு எப்பவுமே பிடிச்ச விஷயம் கஷ்டப்பட்டு பண்றதை விட இஷ்டப்பட்டு பண்ணுங்க. And I'm sure that you will have your way. அந்த டோர் கண்டிப்பா உங்களுக்கு ஒரு நாளைக்கு ஓப்பன் ஆகும். கொஞ்சம் லேட்டா வந்தாலும் பரவாயில்ல, நமக்கு எப்பவுமே பெஸ்டா கிடைக்கும். அந்த ஒரு செல்ஃப் கான்ஃபிடென்ஸோட have a good peacefulness for yourself and a good health, and invest time for yourself. அதுவும் நான் சொல்லுவேன், rather than bookish knowledge, rather than doing certifications, எல்லாமே spend some time for yourself, and you need that healing time for yourself. So stay safe, take care, all of you. Thanks,
Sharanya. I would like to request Radhika, before your closing thoughts, maybe one last question we would like to respond. I think our faculty as well as one of the students have raised this. You can respond to that question and then go with your final thoughts. Kindly provide out any 5 characteristics for non-IT students like BA, BSc to cope up with interviews.
So probably 5 characteristics before getting into that point. From an eligibility perspective, Charles, just to be very open and candid over here, most of the development roles, most of the IT companies prefer only grads from BE and BTech background and ME and MTech background. So when it comes to when a BCA grad or a BCA is also they can also escape because they are from Bachelor of Computer Applications, so they have that knowledge. And apart from that, BBA and BSc, if they really have this inclination towards IT and how do I crack an interview. So probably one thing that they will have to firstly do is that remove the notion from their mind that they are indifferent from a BE grad or a BTech grad. That's the first thing that they will have to do. So with talking about the characteristics, what stands out is that first remove that notion that you are different from a BE or a BTech grad. Yes, we do understand we have an eligibility criteria. To certain roles, we only allow BE, ME grad. But if you ask me if there is no scope at all, no, I would deny that, because any org will definitely have avenues for these folks to come in. So any off-campus interviews, we do allow these BSc or a BBA grads to come inside. So at that time, how quickly you are okay to learn things in terms of be it coding, or if in case you're getting a support opportunity. I can give context from services because I've seen people and I've recruited a lot of folks from this segments. So we do hire people from for a business process role, or for a BPO this thing, or for a service desk. We do hire people from here, and I've seen people who scale up to developer role. So they join in. So initially, my one piece of advice would be take up whatever role you get in an IT segment, in an IT environment, if you're inclined to get into that sector. So after you get into, irrespective of the initial role that you join in, be it a support executive or as I told you, the admin, this thing. So you do have a scope to move to development in future. So first characteristic is probably remove that thought process out of your mind that I am different from them. Second thing, just groom yourself. I do not want to number it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but crux is get into any opportunity in that segment. If you are interested in IT, first get into IT, be it any role. And then we have seen people who are quickly moved. Say, for example, in 6 months, if they are showing a very good improvement in terms of learning development concept, or in terms if they are being a very good support executive. So we have seen people who upgrade the role and who have moved to a developer role. We have seen very good program managers from this background. So do not have this background in mind. As Charles was telling, we are moving to a completely different era. A person who had not even completed their graduation is coming and getting a job. So it is going to be, probably we are long way from it becoming a norm, but then we are there. I think it's halfway through. As Charles was rightly pointing it out, 25% of folks do not even have a graduation. So think about how it is going to be different for you. So it is only about the skill, guys, going forward. It is not about your degree. Degree is very important because eligibility is based on degree. I do not want to take you in the wrong direction, but at the end of the day, irrespective of whatever background you're from, whether you're from BSc, whether you're from BCA or whatever, BBA, whatever, your skill, if you know the technology, if the interviewer, if you're able to convince the interviewer that I have that skill, then I think it is up to you to crack. So initially, don't get into a thought process that I should only get into a developer. No, even if you're getting a smaller role in that segment, get into it. And after a few months or after a year, probably you do have an option to move into that role, considering you equip yourself better from where you started. So that's one piece of advice, and that this is very practical thing. Whatever I've seen. So it is not about graduation. It is not about your stream, engineering stream. It is more so about, as an individual, what skill you pursue, and what knowledge you have, and how confident about you about taking that career forward in that specific technology. Only that is going to talk about you. So remove all these things in mind. So just focus on technology. When you know your skill, guys, I think it's the end of story. When you're confident, when you know that skill, when you learn about that technology, irrespective of your background, companies are ready to take you in. So there are companies which are coming forward now, like Zoho is a classic example. They do not see backgrounds. So I think HCL also has some academy wherein they get people from school. They run their own degree and they hire from there. So there are a lot of there is a change in the complete pattern. So people are breaking patterns. People are breaking traditional way of hiring. We are moving towards a more agile way of hiring, a more agile of looking at a talent. So come out from the traditional mindset, equip yourself well as an individual. Just see what you can learn, how you can upskill yourself, how agile you can be, and how innovative you can be. And whenever you see challenges, just remember Umaka in mind. So probably she's one classic example. So problems, பிரச்சனைகள் இருக்கதான் செய்யும், but it is about how you take it. Either you can use it as an opportunity. Winston Churchill quote பண்ண மாதிரி, don't waste a crisis. So you can look it as an opportunity, or you can crib about challenges and settle back. So the option is with you. So both routes are open. So both routes are there. It is about which route you want to take. So if you want to probably come out of it, and I love the point that Saranya quoted, don't put too much pressure on yourself. As an individual, first learn to, we need that time because நம்ம பார்க்காத நிறைய விஷயங்கள் நம்ம பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கோம். கோ த்ரூ பண்ணாத நிறைய விஷயங்கள் நம்ம எங்கேயோ கண்ட்ரில இருந்து நம்ம கண்ட்ரிக்கு வந்து இப்போ நம்ம ஸ்டேட்டுக்கு வந்து இப்போ நம்ம தெரிஞ்ச ஃபேமிலியில போய் நம்ம ஃபேமிலிக்கு வர அளவுக்கு இது வந்திருக்கு. ஸோ இட்ஸ் அ வெரி நியூ திங். நம்ம எல்லாருமே ஐ திங்க் don't be too harsh on yourself. I love the point that Shavanya quoted. Give it some time. Even if you're cracking the 10th interview, doesn't mind. Never mind. At the end of the day, you are happy, you are content. So I think that's all it matters. So we will come through it. And I want to reiterate point. Let's hope. Hope is a good thing. Probably best of all things. We will come through it. So we will come through it. Just stay put and enjoy this journey. And whatever it is, I think there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Yes.
Thank you so much, Radhika. I would like to invite Purnasamy sir, last but not the least. Thank you so much for patiently being here in this session, sir. Over to you for your closing remarks.
Yeah, I would suggest that all students should be open-minded to embrace the new technology because, as we have heard from our panelists, the technology is going to is going to be ruling us. So the students, including us, not only students, even we, all 5 speakers also should be open-minded and to embrace the technology. That should be the one thing. Second thing, this pandemic situation or for the past 14-15 months, there's been opportunity for all of us, including the students, to do many certification courses. As you were discussing, all panelists were discussing, and students were discussing, raising questions. My suggestion would be doing certification course or attending webinars is not a big thing. Interviewer will easily find out whether you understood the concept or not. So please get into the details, concentrate, and then get the certification. Because I have seen in my organization, during this lockdown period, we used to ask people to do all online courses. They'll just switch on the login to the system. Just listen. They'll be logged in and they'll be doing some other work. And finally, the course will be completed and they'll get a certificate. Yes, so-and-so has completed the certificate. When we post some questions, they will not be able to answer. So at least those guys are at least working. But for fresher students, you will be easily exposed in the interview. Interviewer is smarter than us. So he or she will definitely figure out that you are not gone into the subject or you have just done the certificate for the sake of doing it. So please put in efforts, concentrate. Don't just log in and then roam somewhere else. Please concentrate and get it done. Understand the course and get it done. And Saranya's on a statement, Ishtapatta sign. I just tell, after 30 years, I've taken a sabbatical break now. It's only short break. In fact, last week when I was telling to Charles, he also was shocked. Break. Yes, it's a short break I have taken because we are blessed with the granddaughter. And after 3 generations, there's a baby girl born in our family. So I wanted to spend some time with her. So short-term break. So, I இஷ்டப்பட்டு பண்றேன். 30 வருஷம் கழிச்சு இந்த வயசு சொல்ல விரும்புறேன்னு இப்போ இந்த ஸ்டேஜில் கூட I've taken a break. And again, I'll be coming back. There's no second thought about it. So, all of us should understand. இஷ்டப்பட்டு பண்ணணும் எது பண்ணாலுமே. And I just want to tell, whatever the human mind could conceive and believe, it will definitely achieve. So students, you should have that in your mind. Whatever human mind could conceive and believe, definitely you will achieve. So, manasila vechikittu, you can become successful. Thank you all. Be safe, be healthy, have healthy food, do some physical activity, which is missing during this lockdown or during these virtual sessions. For the past 14 months, many people have put on weights. Maybe people like few guys like me and Charles are not put on weight. Maybe Bhavani Katla Munja, I would have told. And Radhika and Saranya are not new to me. Only just now I sent some link to LinkedIn and Facebook. So please do some physical activity. Enjoy your life. You will be happy. You will be successful. You can enjoy your life. Thank you. Once again, thanks to all for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Purnasamy sir. Thank you so much, every panel members, Radhika, Sharanya, Bhavani, Purnasamy sir. It was really an interesting session towards Malaya Thanditam, and I will not take much time. I'm closing now. Thank you so much to the management, principal, Dr. Pradeep, Anandaraj, the placement head, and the entire faculty members for having us this afternoon, this morning. Thanks to students. Thanks for patiently listening. My dear friends, என்னதான் இவ்வளவு கஷ்டங்கள் இருந்தாலும் சரண்யா சொன்ன மாதிரியும், ராதிகா சொன்ன மாதிரியும், பவானி சொன்ன மாதிரியும், பொன்னுசாமி சார் சொன்ன மாதிரியும், லைஃப் இஸ் நாட் அ ரேஸ். மேபி கோவிடுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு ரேஸ் மாதிரி, மேல் வீட்டுல இன்ஜினியர், பக்கத்து வீட்டுல இன்ஜினியர், மேல் வீட்டுல 90%, பக்கத்து வீட்டுல கோல்டு மெடல், எங்க வீட்லயும் கோல்டு மெடல் இருக்குன்றதுக்கு என் எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்றேனே, எங்க வீட்டுல 5 பேர். நான் வந்து லாஸ்ட் பெஞ்ச் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் த்ரூ அவுட். எனக்கு 30%ல இருந்து 35% எடுத்தேன்னா அவ்வளவு சந்தோஷம். என்னை விட ஜாஸ்தி சந்தோஷப்பட்டது இந்த உலகத்துல என்னுடைய அம்மா. அதே வீட்டுல எங்க அக்கா 90%ல இருந்து 89% எடுத்தாங்கன்னா வீட்டுல யாரோ செத்துட்டாங்கன்னு அர்த்தம். அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு உப்பாரி. ஆனா அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க்குக்கும் செகண்ட் மார்க்குக்கும் ஒரு 8, 9, 10 மார்க்காவது டிஃபரெண்ட் இருக்கும். ஓகே, 90%ல இருந்து 89% எடுத்தா எங்க அக்கா வந்து செகண்ட் ரேங்க் போகல, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க் தான். ஆனாலும் ஒரு சென்டிமெண்ட், ஆனாலும் அந்த 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 ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அந்த மார்க்கை வச்சு என்னதான் பண்ணுவீங்களோன்னு கேட்பேன். மை டியர் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ், லைஃப்ல சக்சஸ் அப்படின்னா நேத்தை விட நான் இன்னைக்கு எந்த அளவுக்கு இம்ப்ரூவ் ஆயிருக்கேன். 30ல இருந்து 35% எடுத்தா சக்சஸ் தான். நான் ஹோட்டல்ல போய் ஒரு சர்வரா வேலை செஞ்சு எப்படியாவது பொழப்ப ஓட்டிக்கிறேன் அப்படின்னு எங்க அப்பாட்ட சொன்னேன். ஏன்னா எனக்கு படிப்பு வரல, எஜுகேஷனே வேண்டான்னு தூரமா போகணும்னு நினைச்சேன்னா இன்னைக்கு நானே எதிர்பார்க்காத ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு எம்என்சி கம்பெனில இந்த பதவியில ஒரு 25-30 வருஷம் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இருந்தாதான் வர முடியும்னு நினைச்சு ஒரு 8-8.5 வருஷத்துலயே ஐ வாஸ் ஏபிள் டு ரீச். இது எதுக்கு சொல்றேன் அப்படின்னா, when I can do it, why not you? ரைட்? அதுதான் லைஃப். லைஃப் இஸ் நாட் அ ரேஸ், லைஃப் இஸ் அ ஜேர்னி. நம்ம போற ஒரு டிராவலை என்ஜாய் பண்ணி செரிஷ் பண்ணி, 1000 பிரச்சனை இருக்கும். ரோட்ல போனா ஆக்சிடென்ட் நடக்கதான் செய்யுது, அதுக்காக நம்ம போறது இல்லையா? வெளியில போனா கொரோனா காத்துல வருதுன்றாங்க, அதுக்காக நம்ம மாஸ்க் போட்டு மாஸ்க் போடாம கூட போறது இல்லையா? டோன்ட் டூ தட். பட் தட்ஸ் ஹவ் லைஃப் ஹஸ் பீன், ரைட்? தட்ஸ் ஹவ் லைஃப் ஹஸ் பீன். ஸோ டேக் கேர். லைஃப் இஸ் அ ஜேர்னி. சம்டைம்ஸ் பேஷண்டா, சம்டைம்ஸ் பொறுமையா, சம்டைம்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் லைஃப்ல அந்த ஸ்பீட் பிரேக்கர்லாம் வரும்னு சொல்லுவாங்களே, அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறது ரொம்ப நல்லதுதான். ஸோ தட் வி கேன் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் our strength, understand our weakness, understand our areas to improve, and we'll definitely bounce back in the best possible way. My dear friends, thank you so much. Give your best. இந்த சூழ்நிலையிலையும் try to give your best, and thank you so much once again. Wishing you all the very best. And if you want to stay connected, find out the speakers details in LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or Insta. Try to connect with them, try to connect with any of us. Now we are very much available to help you, connect with you. Thank you so much once again, and best wishes. Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. Stay safe.
Over to Anand Raj. Yeah.
Thank you all.
I thank all the panel members. The changing nature of the workforce and attitudes were clearly stated in the session. This is really an eye-opener session for all the young aspirants. Thank you all for the session. To show our gratitude, now I welcome beloved Dean, Dr. K.B. Jayaraman, sir, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
A very good afternoon to one and all. Beloved Chairman, sir, distinguished special speakers, respected principal, faculties and students. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose vote of thanks. I extend my sincere thanks to Sri P. Ramachandran, Chairman of SVGA, for his guidance in all aspects for the welfare of the organization. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to extend my sincere and warm thanks to Managing Director Sri B. Rajiv Krishna, sir, and Srimati B. Dr. B. Vidya, Chief Operating Officer, for your nice presence. And I extend my warm thanks to our Principal, Dr. Pradeep Devanayan, for his constant effort for this arrangement of Conclave. Thank you very much, sir. I extend my thanks to Mr. Charles, HR leader and the public speaker, Zoho, for the excellent coverage of information. I extend my sincere thanks to Mr. A. Ponusami, sir, HR professional, and Mrs. Bhavani, talent acquisition led, DXC technology, and B. Radhika Ravi, diversity program manager, APAC, Amazon. And I extend my warm thanks to Mrs. Saranya Iswaran, manager HR, HCL and I would like to narrate information from the English literature. One who knows not that he knows not is a fool, leave him. One who knows not knows that he knows not is simple, teach him. One who knows not knows that he knows he is in sleep, wake him. One who knows that he knows he is wise, follow him. And we have to follow all your advices. All the 5 members are giving your proper feedback about all the information, and it is a very eye-opening session to all of the students as well as the teaching professionals. So I am further extending my sincere thanks to the participants and the students, and also I extend my thanks to all the head of the departments and the faculties. Once again, thank you everyone. Thank you all, and wishing you all an International Family Day. Please be safe and be healthy. Thank you very much for the opportunity given to me. Thank you once again. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Once again, I thank all the panel members and participants for your kind cooperation. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. Puducherry, sir. Charles, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Anya, madam. Bhavani, madam. And thank everyone. Radhika, madam. Thanks, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
It was a nice session and a very eye-opening session for our students and for the participants also. Thank you so much, sir.
Pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Nice to see you, INR, sir. Thank you.